Even in situations where you are cleared criminally, you can still be found liable civilly.
Tom, let's talk a little bit about civil liability as a result of your defensive gun use. We very recently had a case where a USCCA member was exonerated for his defensive gun use in criminal court, but then a family member or someone that the attacker knew came back and filed a civil suit against the USCCA member because the USCCA member apparently deprived them of the company of their loved one who had attacked the USCCA member and ended up getting killed. That's basically all the fact patterns that we can talk about on this situation. But is it something that people need to worry about being charged, is it charges or being liable civilly in court, ended up in civil court because they use their gun to defend against a violent encounter?
It's not very common, but it absolutely can and does happen. I mean, there's no beating around that bush. You can try to suppress it with statistics and say it's an outlier event, but it's an outlier event until you're the one that has to start stroking massive checks.
Yes.
Massive checks. And we're not talking the 4 or 5 figure type. So yeah, I mean, and it doesn't just only happen to regular citizens, like it happens to cops too. I mean, how often do you see cops have okay, so there was a case out in California some years ago now where there was a call that went out that there's a woman, there's a guy holding her with a knife to her throat. So 2 police roll up, they're on like the front stoop, and the cops stop maybe like a block away or something like that. And they're yelling at the guy to back off, back off. Well, what they didn't know then, but what they found out later, this whole thing was a suicide by cop setup. So the guy in the front stoop, the guy who was holding the knife, he was legitimately holding a knife to this woman's throat. So he starts charging the cops with the knife out. So the cops shoot him. And of course,
seems reasonable.
They get sued. And it turned into this whole discussion about reactionary gap, and the Ninth Circuit Court got involved. And fascinating topic for another video, but the point is that, yeah, lawsuits absolutely can and do happen. People do get sued, and even if you win, a win is a loss anytime you're talking about paying lawyers, right?
Yeah.
As the expression goes, you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. So great. So you had to sell your house, or you took out a home equity line of credit, and you maxed out your credit cards because you had to pay your attorneys 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand in order to be exonerated. And this happens in situations, because people think, well, if I just do the right thing,
it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
I'm doing the right thing. I saved my life. I saved someone else.
Even in situations where you are cleared criminally, you can still be found liable civilly. That's what happened to OJ, right? Cleared criminally, convicted, whatever, found responsible, I don't know, whatever they say in civil, but you can still be convicted, so to speak, in civil. And even if you win, like I said, you're still out a life savings in order to protect whatever's left after you lose your life savings.
Right, and I don't understand the philosophy behind that, but I guess truly you can sue anyone for anything at any time. You can file a lawsuit and maybe it will be declared frivolous and thrown out or something like that, but you can file these suits, and USCCA member benefits help that. You can use your USCCA member benefits to help protect against these civil suits. Actually, you're not protecting against them. You're just helping escort you through the legal system.
It's all the above,
yeah,
right? Because it's lawyers, it's
yep.
indemnity,
and all of the things that can happen with that. But you started out by saying this is fairly rare. Not that we hear a lot of these cases, but we do hear them occasionally, and it's just another thing for people to think about to make sure that they're doing everything correct legally when they're defending themselves, so that they don't open the door to a lawsuit like this.
And the big point of emphasis here is that this can happen to you even if you are never charged criminally or found not guilty, right? Again, OJ, found not guilty, lost everything civilly. There are other cases where people have never been criminally charged or are acquitted. I mean, look at Kyle Rittenhouse as another one, right? Found not guilty criminally, but has been sued civilly, right? So it's something that you have to take into account, because whether you like it or not, it's part of the picture.
Yeah, and it's just further proof that your 10-second violent encounter will go on for months or years down the road. Yeah, years down the road. And you have to be ready for that if you're carrying a gun.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for your insight, Tom. Always good talking to you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Did you know we have a secret gun giveaway going on right now you can enter for free? But it ends really soon. Just click the link in the description below to reveal which brand new gun you could win.